Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Reality Realness with 3 S's. I'm your host here, Chantele, here with Matthew to talk about this final part 2 of the finale of season 39 of The Challenge. Matthew, I have an idea how you feel, but how's it going?
I'm just super excited and happy for the female champ, Nurys. So she's fought through it all, eliminated 5 people, and she's now a challenge champion in my books.
I would assume that that's how you were going to feel. I definitely have to agree with you. If I'm not mistaken, the rumor mill has it that when Johnny Bananas and Jenny West were on top of that mountain, Jenny West was in the front, and it was supposed to be a solo winner that season. But then when it wasn't Bananas winning, that they decided to make a male and female winner. Now, I don't know if that rumor is true, but why couldn't they done this here and make it, a male and female winner as opposed to just one sole winner?
Yeah. I feel like that rumor is probably not true, but
why don't you ever want to hate on production, huh?
Oh, I have like plenty of negative things to say about production, especially this season, but it just doesn't like really make sense to me why that would be the case. And like there's probably like legal behind it, but like for this season in particular, the whole point of this season was to have new champions. Like, why would they not want there to be 2?
And another female champion, because there's a decent amount, but in the right now, who are we talking about? That's kind of in the fold. We got Casey, we got Tori.
Yeah, I mean, like they don't even seem to want to have like Jenny West and Amber back on the show, and those are 2 of the more like recent female winners. Obviously, like they don't know going into the season who is going to win, but just like the fact of the matter is a solo final does typically favor men. Not like
and
this one
final very much favored men.
Yeah, I actually thought this one was more fair than some of the other ones.
True.
Like more fair than the one like Turbo one for sure, where that was like pure like running. There were checkpoints obviously, and then the one Yes one, it was literally just like a run up the mountain for the 3rd stage. So I think this one was a bit more fair. But that being said, why would they not want to bring in 2 new winners when it opens up the opportunity to do like, hey, like if we want to do an all winners season for 40 or winners versus losers, now we have 2 more winners we can pull from. But I don't know. I thought that was a dumb decision, but I'm still going to treat it as if Nurys is a winner in my books.
Well, no matter what, she did come first out of all the women.
Yeah.
And that we can take that with us. Like Icona here is saying that congratulations to our winner, Nurys, the last woman standing. She made us proud tonight. She really did. Honestly, like I love Nurys going into this season, and I was frustrated with her when she was working with Jay, but she had the best season arc for a character or like, a contestant. Like she had the best season, and I think this is really cemented her as being, she is the face of the new face of the challenge, I would say, from this season.
Oh, from this season, definitely. She'll be like one of the staples from this season. And I mean, I'd be shocked if I don't care what like people are saying now. Like I'd be shocked if she wasn't on season 40 when they fly out in a couple weeks. And like she needs to be there. Like I think she is like earned a place as like someone who can go to production and say, hey, if you want me there, like pay up a little more, because she is like truly a star, and they're going to need and want her around if this show is going to continue to be successful. Because like at the end of the day, like Cara and Laurel, like they can come back, but they're not going to be back for 10 years. And I'm sure the show would love to be on for another 10 years. And Nurys is someone that theoretically could be there for the better part of a decade.
100%. She's still in her 20s, I believe, like late 20s, but still in her 20s. So she has a good 15 years on her still if the show lasts that long. Yes, Jessica Nurys was so close. She did great and persevered. Definitely the star of the season. 100% the star of the season. And I think that in the end that will bode better for her. I don't see them like clamoring for most of the other people in the final, especially our winner of this season, season 39, Emmanuel is the winner. Did you see him coming?
Well, I mean, kind of, but I don't know. I thought it was a little unfair that they brought in Jordan just for the final, but at least we didn't have to hear much from him in the 18 episodes prior. So if Jordan's going to come in for the final and win, that's fine with me.
No, but he turned his back on Jordan, so it wouldn't have been him coming in for the final, you know? Yes, Louis, I really would have loved for them to have had a female winner. I don't know if they're just saving money because they want to make season 40 really to have like money to play with to get some of the big hitters involved. Like, I'm just not sure why they didn't want to do a double payout.
But like, I don't even think the money would be an issue because they could have just said one male, one female winner. Like, each of them gets 180K instead of like 250K and then 60. And then like third place getting money. Like, why not just have a male female winner and they split the whole pot? If it's 400K, 350, whatever it was in the end. I think it was
250 is what Emmanuel's.
So I think it was 340 total because Nurys got 60 and Colleen got 30. So yeah, 340. Just give them both 170 each. Easy.
I would be happy with that.
Yeah.
Because like we did hear a lot about Emmanuel, you know, doing this for his family and his mom, and you know he wants to, which is great. But Nurys didn't talk about it that much. But she has said that she's been taking care of her entire family on her own back, and so she too is somebody that would greatly benefit from winning a good amount of money, and it would be going a long way. She would be taking care of people as well, so it would have been very nice if Nurys got, you know, a bigger chunk, considering she did place first out of all the women. Yeah. So frustrating, but it is what it is. We knew Emmanuel was doing pretty well. I ended up drafting him first. I actually, my draft looks pretty good now that like I see what's end up happening. But so my top three actually was Emmanuel, Nurys, and Corey. It's like, I did not think I had a good draft team when it started, you know what I mean? Because I was just rooting so hard against Emmanuel that like I was like, I don't want him here. So it couldn't have been good. The people that you had that were in the final was Colleen and Moriah. I also had Berna on my team in the final, and then Michele had in the final. Oh my god, nobody? No, I don't think she had anybody in the. Oh, Jay at one point. So we do have some results. I didn't put in our results. I'll wait till Michele comes on to talk about the winner of the draft. I didn't include the MVP because I was just like, I didn't take proper notes on that. And it was just so hard when it was like group challenges and this and that. Unless you can think of some standouts, like who needs to get some points.
Yeah, I think moving forward, we may have to do the drafts a little earlier because there are like spoilers that get out, and then like people in the comments will always be like, "Oh, that was like a great pick," and it's like, "Oh, really?" Because like I had them dead last on my list, and now everyone's saying, "Great pick, great pick."
Oh, for Kyland? Is that what you said?
No, like I think Emmanuel. Like when you picked Emmanuel, I was like, "Oh, I have him dead last on my list," and then everyone in the comments is like, "Oh, that's the best pick. Like he's gonna win." Blah blah blah. It's like then.
Well, I don't fully remember that. I remember I picked Emmanuel because like I really didn't like him as like a personality on the show, but I remember him having good stamina, being a dancer, kind of good at different games as opposed like the carnival games. He was pretty good at. I wasn't sure how he was at puzzles, but I just thought that stamina-wise, and he's just good at a lot of things, that he was going to do pretty well. You had taken Horacio first. Yeah, and Michele took Cierran first. So, and then you took Kyland. Then Michele took Jay. I took Corey. I was thinking that Corey, because he really wanted it. You know, he was just always being like, I need it so bad, and like being so ready to come in and fight. I thought he was going to be a different player than he was. But I thought that he was going to do well, or better than he did better than I thought he was going to do, but I wouldn't be surprised if he did as well as he did. And then you took Kyland. So
Yeah, I stand by my picks. I like my picks.
Even Asaf?
Well, I'm pretty sure Asaf was given to me as a
Oh, yeah,
grenade.
probably.
So I don't think but I mean, at the time, like I didn't really know anything about Asaf. So maybe I did pick him because I just didn't
No,
know
I
him.
think it was sabotage because
It-
we did 2 rounds, I think.
yeah, it might have been a sabotage.
My
But
sabotage was Chauncey
yeah, Chauncey. I forgot Chauncey was even on this season.
and Michelle's sabotage was James.
James went decently far, so
But
that's
he didn't get any points really. I think he got 5 points from Michele.
he must have got a couple hookup points, or
Okay,
I guess just one. But
we'll give her 1 hookup point. How much were we doing that? 5 or 10 points?
I can't remember.
It's probably 5 points.
But yeah, I mean, he went far. He won 1 elimination, so at least he did something.
Oh yeah, so 10 points there. So he got then 20 points for her. I guess then
Yeah.
you get 5 more points for Moriah.
It's so weird that Chauncey was on this season. Like, it feels like he was just on last season, and I barely remember him even setting foot here. But yeah, I think I can't remember who I took first for the women. I think I took Big T first for the women.
You did, yeah. I took Nurys. And Michele took Olivia.
Okay, makes sense. I had last pick for the women, so I guess Nurys and Olivia would have been gone. I'm surprised who took Michele.
Michele.
Okay.
Last though, so that was her last pick.
I wonder how Michele would have fared in this final, honestly. I think like Michele actually would have done decently well because she can swim. She would have started off good, and then it was a lot of puzzles. So
how would she have repelled? I'm not sure.
Well, it seems like everyone kind of sucked at that except Emmanuel. That was honestly a really funny scene, in my opinion, because it was just them like crashing into each other. But I feel like Michele like wouldn't have done like any worse than anyone else. I actually do think this was a final that Michele could have done very well in.
Well, let's start talking about it, considering we have Michele here. Hello, Michele.
Hello.
How you doing? What are your first thoughts? How does it feel? Is that it?
Yeah, I love Nurys. Love Nurys. So happy for her. That's all my thoughts right now.
That's basically my thoughts too. Is the people's champ.
The people's champ, and I'm happy that at least she placed and almost won. And you know, what a brutal episode to watch. But anyways,
I mean, it was kind of like interesting because I was like just hoping so badly that she was going to be able to pull it out. And I'm like, yeah, Stoku, he's stuck. Go. And like,
I know.
I was really just hoping and praying, but
I actually thought it was like a decent final. I agree with Michele. Like, I just did not think it was enjoyable to watch.
Yeah.
But like, it was like a pretty like legit final. Like, it was like decently hard. There was a lot going on. There was like it was close. Seemingly it was close. So
and I like that it was close in that way. Like I do like that, and I didn't mind the structure of it as far as we've seen some brutal finals. Sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I liked a lot of elements of it, but I found it so unenjoyable to watch. Yeah. Every time Emmanuel or Berna was speaking, or on the screen, I just like I wanted to just fast forward it. Like I didn't care, and like. I don't know. That really affected my ability to enjoy it. Same with Colleen as well, to be honest, but obviously
Colleen
less so.
Annoys me more.
Yeah.
Personally.
Yeah.
But we'll get to it, I guess. So when we start part 2 of this final, we have Emmanuel winning the chaos portion. Whoop whoop. And he has to select one contender to send into chaos elimination round. Now we were debating who we thought he was going to send in. Mm-hmm. I thought that he was going to send in Nurys because he's just like it must be the fact that she was cuddling up with Horacio and not with him, because every single other woman was cuddling up with him even though he had a significant other. Like, why? And then he's saying like, oh, I'm not scared of her. Oh, I don't fear her. And then he sends her in like this petite little girl.
I think that the truth is kind of similar to with like Jay and him and Asaf with like Kyland and Horacio, where it's like he knew with the puzzle element that Nurys was the most experienced and the most likely to win. And instead of admitting that and making some and being real in which people would respect you more and maybe like you and say she's so fierce, he's like, oh, I'm not afraid, but then I'm not aligned with her, so I'm going to throw her in. Like, that's not the truth. And he can say whatever he wants. I'm not going to listen anyways anymore. So
And also though with the fact that Jay just had been taken out by Corey, you would think that Emmanuel would have a little bit of a vendetta against Corey and being like, I'm gonna get Corey out because
I think he didn't want to throw in Corey because I think he knew at the end of the day Corey wasn't going to be as big of a threat to him. Because he could probably tell that Corey was really exhausted, had already done an elimination and this and that. And also knowing if there's any elements with like heights and different types of things, he probably would already know from the past, knowing Corey's fears and things that could come into play as well. Yeah. He obviously was most scared of Nurys, which obviously should have been. So it makes sense.
It makes sense, but from the narrative that he's been drawing this entire season is that like, oh, I don't know why we weren't scared of her. We just threw her in because we don't like her. Like, you know, I'm just like
they're all of them collectively, and I'm sure this is going to happen at the reunion as well. It's like that whole group is going to try to downplay the element of Nurys, and it's just like because they want to feel good about themselves. But they are so unbelievably unlikable, that whole group, and there's nothing you can do to change that fact. It's like we all saw it. Like they're all so awful.
Adrian here is saying, hey, y'all just check in and saying how happy Nurys is such an amazing winner we have so far in such a long time. No, really, she did, y'all. Yes,
she's our winner.
She is our winner. She is the people's choice. She is our brand new champion. She definitely won. And when Deandra was saying in the Instagram live that she's like, oh, our champ here, people are like, oh my God, did she spoil it? I guess she kind of did spoil it because she is our champ for sure.
Yeah.
She definitely was badass in that final. And I'm really happy that if she wasn't going to win, that she came in second, because I would have been furious if she was taken out by.
Oh, and I was just terrified that like obviously I'm unhappy about Colleen getting third, but I was terrified that it was going to be Berna and Colleen as 2 and 3. Like I was like, that cannot happen. Like if Emmanuel is going to win, I need like at least a Corey in there. If not, I need Nurys and like I want it to be Nurys and Corey as the other two.
I did too, but we'll get to how that was a bit of a disappointment. So they're going to be going down. Matthew and I were trying to figure out how they're going to play this chaos elimination. We had a feeling they're going to be pulling those maces, but we weren't sure how they were going to do it. I think that they chose the poor version of what we were suggesting potentially. The fact that everybody was up on the docket, it wasn't just pure chaos. Like I think it would have been successful if she got to choose who she went against.
Yeah, and like Corey got to, so why suddenly?
Because that was in the conquest phase.
Yeah, I think they wanted to just match the like format of that stage of the game. But like we also just got super unlucky with like Nurys pulling probably the one mace that like nobody wanted her to pick. Like the worst case scenario was pick Moriah, who would have been voted in by the rest of them anyways if there was a vote. I would have like honestly like Nurys picking chaos would have been fun. Or Nurys picking any of the other 3 would have been fun too. And if Nurys had a choice, she would definitely not have chose Moriah. So it was really like 1 in 6 chance of Moriah going in.
Shot in the dark.
Yeah, and it hit Moriah, which was just really unfortunate. Not that like I really care if Moriah wins.
I would have rathered anybody else be taken.
I would have rather her continue in it, and also like because then we would know like. She's not going to win all those puzzles. Come on. There were too many puzzles.
I just think we missed out on like the opportunity of like seeing like Nurys pick someone. Like that would have been fun. Because I wonder, would she have picked Berna or would she have picked
She would have picked Colleen because Colleen was like, oh, she's so mad at me. And like, every single confessional was about like, oh, I want Nurys gone because like she's coming for me.
Yeah, I think it might have been smarter to pick Berna just because.
But Berna was so like bad.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes,
Isn't that why you
yeah.
want to pick her though? Because it's
Oh,
just
to make
one
sure
of
that she just
just to
leave?
confirm.
I mean, competitively. Like
I just think Berna is like so bad under pressure that Nurys could have just been like, this is the easiest win. And Colleen, like, for like what it's worth, like Colleen was not like the best in the final, but she did get very screwed multiple times. And I do think Colleen performed much better than most of the people. They like honestly, like she performed as good as Nurys, in my opinion, in the final.
Yeah, I mean
a little bit better, but yeah, she's just pretty close.
Yeah, she didn't perform badly. Like for her, like she performed better than she has. She did bring some of her teams down, but then when she was with Berna, obviously Berna brought her down. So like she did get kind of screwed up.
And she got screwed with like the Nurys when she was paired with Nurys and they had to do like the physical thing. Like that was just bullshit. Where I mean, ultimately it didn't matter for Colleen, but it
mattered for Moriah, to be honest.
Yeah.
In the end.
So I'd say like I overall was like physically like impressed with Colleen. That being said, there's no chance we're ever going to see her back on this show. So that's about all the praise that I'll give her for the rest of her challenge career.
Yeah.
So yeah, she chooses Moriah, and they have to do this kind of puzzle where they had to fit these blocks inside another blocks that only has a small hole to be able to fit these blocks in. I couldn't really tell what the strategy was, but it seems like you had to just line two up side by side to be able to slide one over. That's what it seemed like you had to do, but I didn't pause it to see.
It was hard to kind of see the details of it, yeah.
Why would they choose something that's so like small and hard for us to watch? Like it's supposed to be dynamic and engaging, and
I mean that's the biggest problem with like the episode in general. It's like they're doing like Sudoku puzzles and like circle puzzles. It's like cool, like I like how it's fair and anyone can win, but like this is so boring to watch as a viewer because we can't see the puzzle. We just see them doing the puzzle. So that's honestly my biggest critique with all finals, essentially. But I'll take a fair final that sucks to watch over an unfair final that also sucks to watch.
That's true. But I'm just like, can we stop with the Sudoku? Like, did we not learn our lesson with USA 1? Like,
I think
just stop doing it. Like, pick any other number puzzle
in there though to help Nurys.
But she doesn't need help. She's good at every type of puzzle. Like she didn't need that, and it obviously didn't help her,
though, right?
But it stopped her. It stopped her. Like, yeah. I just get rid of the Sudoku. Do a Wordle.
Ooh, Wordle. But it would be the words would be so stupid and easy.
I know, but like some people are bad at that.
So apparently, according to Challenge Fan here, Olivia, Michele, and Kyland are the only 39 people on 40. I mean, Kyland's going to be saying yes as anytime he can.
Do you think that Nurys wants to take a break?
No, I think Nurys will be there for sure.
She's got to be there.
Yeah, I think
maybe maybe she's not part of the buzz because this hadn't aired yet.
Yeah, I mean, there's still it's still going to be a few weeks until like the final cast is announced. I would say those three, like obviously Olivia, Michele, Kyland will be there. I think Nurys, Horacio, and
Horacio?
I don't know if
Horacio will be there. I think he will be ultimately, just because like he is like the new like it guy. And I also think like Big T and Melissa, like, and that's probably it from this season.
Content here is saying Nurys already admitted to declining 40.
I don't believe it for a second.
Nurys said that she was taking a break, and I think she's doing a Spartan race with Horacio. I don't think she can stop the momentum.
Yeah. I mean,
you can't take a break now.
If we believed everyone that said they were taking a break, there would be no challenge anymore because everyone says that.
I mean, or she could be playing hardball with production, right?
For sure. Yeah, that could be
more
that.
Money or something.
Yeah, I'd be completely shocked if Nurys wasn't there when the cast is announced.
Dabu says Nurys said that she would do it out of anger. She was venting about working with Olivia.
Oh, what if it's like some sort of rivalry type thing? No, it wouldn't be for 40 though.
She did say that if it was rivals and she was with Olivia, she would not go.
Same with Jay.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like I take what they say now with a grain of salt, and like come back in 2 weeks when the cast is announced, and you can let me know that you can give me credit for saying I told you so.
Yeah, we'll give you credit. We'll say I told you so. You can say I told you so to us. I haven't seen either way, so right now I'm more inclined to believe you, Matthew, because I feel like you have your finger on the pulse.
Yeah, I just like I obviously I don't know anything. Like, I don't know Nurys, obviously, but it just like would not make sense for the star of season 39 to not be there for season 40, especially like with all the praise that she's getting from TJ even. And like obviously production loves her. So yeah, I mean, to me, like it would have to be like some crazy reason why she's not there. So
Sabu says, "Oh please, I've seen Kenny and Wes work together. Olivia and Nurys, it isn't that deep." I wouldn't. I think she doesn't want Olivia to win.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like it's not working with her. It's wanting to give her a win. She just says that she wants to be petty, and like I'd be petty too. I'd be like, you know what, I don't want to work with you because I don't want to win with you. I get it. I mean, we did also see CT and Wes do that together too and win. So
yeah, I think ultimately, like if Nurys and Olivia were to be like partnered with each other, and like if they like, I don't know if they would actually turn it down, but I could see them making nice for a season. It wouldn't shock me. Like we have seen rivals turn into friends, so it wouldn't be like the biggest shock ever if 5 years from now they were partnered and became friends again. Or
yeah,
no.
I mean,
Olivia before Jay for sure. I think she hates Jay worse, which I'm glad for because he deserves to be hated worse.
I don't know if you were on the pod when we were talking about it, but even my mom was saying, like, what happened to Jay? Why is he acting like that? Like my mother. It's like, I don't remember him being like this. What's wrong with him? I'm like, yeah, who knows, Mom? So it was so frustrating too that they were all rooting for Moriah, and I was just so happy that Nurys was able to just get it done. And you hear Emmanuel being like, "Oh, she's got it, she's got it." And I was like, "Yeah, she's got it, Emmanuel. Okay, you want to take her out? You do it yourself." So now she's sent home 5 people. So I wonder what her stats are going to look like. Is it just going to be like 3 eliminations, or will it say for people? Like, how do you think her stats are going to stack up?
I think it'll probably count as just like 3 elimination wins. But we'll know deep down that she sent home 5 people.
5 people. Get it, girl. So the night portion is going to be started and nobody is going to be sleeping. They have to remove all the tiles. So it was what they did on the very first, actually the pre-episode and into the first episode where they had to like remove all these tiles. Once they remove the tiles, the first 3 people will have some comfort items to help them sleep. So there's a chair, there's a pillow, and there's a blanket. They didn't say how many tiles there were, but the first 2 people to place are going to be able to sabotage other teams. Now, what was it just with their own tiles? They could put their own tiles in other teams' tiles or like slots? Like how did they choose how many tiles to give the sabotage and then to whom?
I don't know. I'm guessing there was like a set amount that they were probably told by production. I don't like it wasn't clear how many it was, but I don't know exactly if it was their tiles just divvied up.
Okay, so yeah, it's their own tiles.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know how many they started with.
Yeah, it just was a large pile. Now, what would the strategy be for that one? It seems like Emmanuel was trying to just do like stacks of like 15 and he's trying to move the tiles up. Nurys had a smaller amount that she was trying to do. What do you think the best strategy there for that was? Having small fingers, probably.
Yeah, and just like being quick and efficient in that way. I think obviously Nurys' strategy was the best.
It was because she was first, which made me really, really happy. Because she wants to make her family proud. She wants to win, of course. And so she gets to sabotage people. And I just loved her calling out Colleen, being like, Colleen, like you lied to me. Like I never done anything to you in this game. And like all you did was like go against me. And I loved it. And Colleen had nothing to say either.
Yeah, I at first, like when that was happening, I thought it was like Nurys, like in confessional, because Colleen just had this like blank stare, like was not reacting at all. I'm like, oh, are they like are they showing us Nurys's confessional without actually showing us the confessional? And then I saw Nurys was actually talking straight to Colleen. I'm like, oh, this is like kind of epic. Nurys is like calling her out, like while Colleen is like slowly trying to get these tiles up. So that was like another thing where it's like Colleen kind of got like a little screwed there, but like at least this was more like structure of the game. Like she fucked over Nurys, so Nurys got her back here, and that was like pretty epic.
Definitely pretty epic. I loved every second of it. It was around 1 a.m. when Nurys finished sabotaging and was able to take the blanket. Second place was Emmanuel. So even though he got sabotaged and he has probably larger fingers, he was able to come second place, and he takes the pillow. And he's like, oh, I'm still coming for Nurys. I'm still coming for her. I'm just like, just let her be. Like, girl. Berna finishes third place. She takes the chair. Fourth place is Corey. And then fifth place is Colleen. And I don't know why they threw in this confessional of Colleen, but like, she's just saying like, I'm ready to take my throne. I
was actually getting like vibes throughout the final that I was thinking Colleen was going to win.
I was scared.
Because she was getting a lot of those confessionals where it was like, now it's my time. Like I'm coming for them. Like I'm so close. And I'm like, oh my God. Like I haven't like heard Colleen ever talk like this. So I was actually like getting vibes through the final that like Colleen like might be taking it. But I guess that was like her like placing at it.
I was worried. I was definitely worried. Yeah, Matthew, no dance?
How can I dance when he didn't even place?
He didn't even place. Not even a place. Sorry, Corey. So did you notice that Nurys was sharing her blanket and pillow with Emmanuel?
Yeah.
I was like, I get it that she wants to be a little bit warmer, and like it's so you might as well like both get a little bit of pillow, both get a little blanket, and you also get the body heat of each other. But I'm like, I just want him to suffer. Like, don't be sharing with him. Share with Corey at least, like a bit of the blanket, and like he's a big warm body, you know? I didn't want him to have I didn't want her to give him anything nice because he's just so mean to her in his confessionals, and he doesn't want to help her out at all. And so I didn't like the fact that she was kind of giving him a little bit of help.
It must have been like they probably made a deal like, hey, like we'll rotate the pillow and then we'll share the blanket, which if that's the case, like, all right, cool. But it's weird. Like they couldn't sleep anyways. So
yeah,
I wouldn't really care that much about the pillow. Like obviously like you want to be more comfortable, but I mean, you're not sleeping, so who cares if you have
I can sleep anywhere, and so like I would have been out for sure. I would just like wrap myself up in the blanket and try to make a little top part for my pillow, and I'd just be like, okay, I'm out.
Well, I don't think
what happened if you fell asleep? Like,
I
what
feel like production
happened?
would just be there to wake you up. Like they wouldn't let it happen.
Oh, they were not supposed to.
Yeah, no, they weren't allowed.
They weren't allowed to fall asleep.
Oh, I thought they were supposed. So why did he be comfortable?
Well, I guess it was for warmth and just comfort, but
I thought it was to persuade them to fall. Like I thought it was to be like a temptation to fall asleep because you're like comfy and you have to not fall asleep. Because he said if you fall asleep, there'll be consequences. But then there weren't any because nobody fell asleep, I guess. But
yeah,
like, if I had to stay awake, I would not want to get comfy. So I would be like standing up. I would be talking. I'd be dancing around. Like I would not be like, cozy and cuddly. So I probably would sit on the chair at that point.
Fair.
That would be the easiest to stay awake with, I think. I agree. Well, Emmanuel does not deserve a blanket. He deserves to shiver. It's kind of funny. So in the morning, everybody's really tired, and TJ arrives in a speedboat. And I was like, are they really going to make Nurys swim like a huge distance? I'm like, that's so annoying. I mean, I know a lot of the finals have a lot of swimming elements in it, so I'm not surprised that there was swimming here, but I was just upset for Nurys because I just want her to have a shot at this, and this was going to be something that would bring her to the back. And Colleen is stronger at swimming than she is, and so is Emmanuel. So I was like, ugh. Just a little frustrated there. So they had to swim for the Conquest Challenge, 2,000 meters. That's really far, right? Like, how long do you think it took them? How long would it take to swim? 2,000 meters. Oh, that's like 2K. Okay, that's not that far, actually.
That's like, but that was like one of the parts of the final that I didn't like, because that like does favor like certain people. And I think like with the exception of that, and then like some of the like running stuff, it like was otherwise like pretty equitable. But like, I don't know, like swimming, and like right off the bat, I kind of knew like, all right, Nurys is not the best swimmer, which is fine if it was like a female and male champion. But knowing like, all right, Emmanuel is a great swimmer, it's like, all right, he's gonna get it started with a huge advantage, and he like already had the advantage from the first part. So I was kind of like a little nervous there. I didn't love that they had to do that swim, but I mean, ultimately, luckily, it didn't like matter that much, but it was still kind of annoying.
So, according to Google, a beginner swimmer would swim about 1,000 meters in 30 minutes. So 2,000 meters would take about an hour. So I'm assuming that they all took around 30 minutes to an hour. It's probably going to be how it ranged, which makes, I guess, sense. Yeah, but it was still pretty sad. So Emmanuel, Colleen, Corey, Nurys, and Berna, that was the order that they did finish in that order, I think, right? Is that how it worked? Yes. So that's the order that they finished the swimming checkpoint. So Nurys was in 4th place, and now they had to run up this cliff to go clip on and rappel down the side of a mountain. And then at the bottom of the rappel, they're going to have to find their puzzle pieces and complete the puzzle. And if they took too long, they could time out in 15 minutes. One thing, sorry, just to jump ahead to the Sudoku again. I'm happy that they didn't have a timeout element for the Sudoku, because then he might have won a lot more soon. Same with Corey, might have beat Nurys if there was a timeout. So like that's a one saving grace here.
Yeah, I think Corey would have needed to be able to time out on the balance beam, but he had a real Suri moment there.
Mary's saying this is a good point. Know how to swim is like fire on Survivor or sewing in Drag Race.
Oh, for sure. But like, I just don't think like the fact there's a male and female winner, like it's like, all right, if you're in a foot race, like realistically, a guy is going to win a foot race more like over a woman, which sucks that it is like mostly the case. But like same as a swim, they're like, if it was just a female winner and a male winner, and Nurys couldn't swim or couldn't swim as well and lost to Colleen, like that's a different story. But just giving like the guys like a bit of an advantage right off the bat is kind of annoying.
Yeah,
kind of really annoying. Before they do the rappel, though, to stop their time, they have to drink one of TJ's energy drinks. So what was it again? Beet juice, tuna.
Yeah, some fish, something.
And one other ingredient. I didn't write it down because I thought I'd remember, but I didn't.
Ugh, Berna's whole like tears over this.
Tuna shake. Yeah, tuna. Oh, mayo. Mayo's the last. Is that really that bad?
It doesn't matter if it's that bad. That is something that is just like, the way she cries about things is so annoying.
I can't do this, and I'm like, I'm gonna stop to quit the fight, and I'm like, well, I was with Nurys, like, quit then, quit, like, please.
I loved, and all her confessionals being like, and this part was just so hard for me. Like she always says, like, this was so hard for me, and I already got through all these things that were so hard for me. Like she acts as if everything is just more difficult when it's happening to her. It's
so frustrating.
I can't.
And I was like, I didn't want to see her like moan about it, whinge about it. I was just like, get on with it. Please, please, please. But she finally does. Everybody else drinks it. Like, I thought it was actually an energy drink because I was like, oh, everybody was like fine with drinking it. I saw Nurys plugging her nose and I'm like, oh, I guess it must have been gross. And then I was like, oh, it's the same shake from before. Oh, it's the nasty shake. Got it. But I don't think that tuna and beet juice and mayo is that bad. I know it as a liquid form, it's kind of not great, but like, I don't know. I think the flavor wouldn't be the worst. I've definitely tasted worse things.
Yeah, I'm sure it's like not the most pleasant, but it like definitely did not seem that bad.
No. I mean, I sometimes put like chunks of beets in my tuna salad, maybe like raw beets. I used to like shaved raw beets or like beet juice. I actually do really like. I don't think I'd be that mad. Gwibble Gabble says, not gonna lie, Emmanuel was downing the drinks in the end. Like, I mean, you just open your throat and swallow. So they all do repel, and now Corey can't repel, and he is crying. And TJ steps in. He's like, "What's the problem?" We haven't seen TJ like step in like that in a while. Like, do you remember another time where we saw TJ in a final that close to the competitors?
I think the closest thing was when Nelson lost the final against Kyle, and like he lost the elimination, and Nelson was like crying. And then TJ like stepped in, like gave him like a pep talk and said like, "Hey, like you're a legend. Like you will like you have what it takes to be a champion." And he like got involved with the players. And yeah, normally TJ doesn't do that, but I honestly like I think this has been a really good season for TJ. And like I thought this was a really good episode for TJ too. Like he's just been like excited. He's been helping the cast members out. Like he's actually playing a part in like bringing in like the new crop of talent. So I thought that was like a good moment from TJ. And
he's like, it's a baby hill. I thought it was a baby hill as well. Even they're trying to make it look like, ooh, give me vertigo, but like it did not look that high to me. And like TJ said, it was a baby hill. And then I'm agreeing with Wibble Gabble here when he's like, what if I get stuck? Will you save me? And TJ's like, yeah, I'll come down. I'll save you.
I feel like he really would. Like
he would.
If Corey got stuck, I definitely see TJ like climbing down there and getting him.
And it honestly didn't look that like I know it was safe, but like the fact that they had to go frontwards and lean forward, and it's all like the crumbly little rocks. I was like, this looks awful. Like,
because it wasn't that high. That's why they had to make it seem a little bit scarier. Because it was like literally like 20 feet. Like it was not. It didn't seem high.
The fact that Corey, because I'm, as you know, petrified and immobilized by height fear things, but like,
oh yeah,
you already were above that hamster one. You did that was much higher, and I feel like he's done scarier, higher things.
Well, and like, how come right now is the first time like I'm hearing that Corey's like deathly afraid of heights? Like, I feel like it should have come up before, or am I just misremembering?
I feel like some people are maybe okay with heights over water, but it's like over ground where it's like they're freaked out.
Okay.
Like for me, like I'm like that person. Like I'm petrified of heights over ground, but I could be over water and I would be completely fine. So I actually was like thinking if I was in Corey's shoes, I would be like shitting my pants as well. Like I'd be in tears, like even if it wasn't that high. Oh yeah,
I'm not trying to like mock you.
Oh, yeah.
I am terrified. Like stuff like that are just things I could never do. Like when they propel down buildings on the challenge, that's like the one thing I could never do.
Yeah, horrifying.
Ooh. Boy, okay. Note to self: neither of you are going to be my amazing race partners.
Yeah,
if it was over water, like I'm completely fine. It would not scare me at all.
Matthew, would you bungee?
Absolutely not.
Would you skydive?
If I tried to skydive, I would literally die in the air. Like my heart would stop. I would be so scared. I could not do it.
Come on, Corey, just repel. Come on, Matthew, just repel. Oh my goodness. Sorry, I guess you just take for granted things that like it's never bothered you. So I'm like, oh, surprising. Well, I'm happy though that you guys have never had to experience that, but that sucks. I like heights. So everybody going down this baby hill, quite awkwardly. Colleen was awkward. Emmanuel slightly. He looked like he had the best technique going down. Corey though was like a large mammal coming down, like a giraffe or like a deer. Like he was just like clunking down forward. Like he was just so uncoordinated and awkward. I felt like that alone would probably scare me being around him because he's just like a bull in a china shop, just like pummeling down without any finesse whatsoever. That would be scary to me.
Yeah,
how he was going down. Berna was pretty good at it. Obviously, she's used to working with ropes. She works in the circus, so she didn't really have that much of a problem. She was going down last anyways. Emmanuel, no surprise, first at the puzzle. And it wasn't a tangram, but it was like just triangles, right? Triangles and squares and rectangles were the pieces that they had to fit into the square.
Yeah, I think so.
No tar for Michele and Matthew. Oh my god, maybe you guys should be partners for the Amazing Race.
I mean, I think anytime we got to something heights, we would just disqualify.
And also, I can't drive, and I'm bad with directions. I'm just the worst person to be on a show.
Yeah, I'm not great with directions either. So
oh my god, you guys actually had to go on a show together.
I could do I could do water stuff. I can do puzzles. I'm great at Sudoku, so that's something I can do. But yeah, Amazing Race is probably not my show.
No, my skills are not really catered towards the challenges on that show, or most shows, to be honest.
Your skills, you're good at Big Brother.
Yeah, that would be the closest.
Have any other show you think you'd be decent at? The Traitors.
Yeah, maybe like a Traitors.
Would you be a traitor or a faithful?
It's. I mean, I think it'd be easier to be a traitor. But probably a faithful. I don't know. Who knows?
Who knows? Oh my god, I would love to see the two of you on The Amazing Race now. Like,
I think I could do Survivor. Like the challenges there are pretty straightforward. It's like that's me.
You don't mind being above water because like jumping and hitting like something and jumping.
Anything water's fine. Like I honestly wouldn't mind like being out, like living outside for a month. Like that wouldn't matter to me too much. Like I'm not scared of like bugs or wildlife really. So I think like Survivor would be okay. Big Brother obviously is like the easiest. You're literally living in a house doing like carnival games. So
yeah, but it's the longest. That's the thing.
Canada's not too long. What is it, like 56 or 60-ish days?
No, like 80.
80? Are you sure?
80 on the dot, actually.
I thought it was like 65.
No, I think it's 80 on the dot.
I could do that.
A week shot or like a little bit shy.
I think you could do it.
Yeah, I don't have much else going on in my life.
Matthew, why haven't you done the backyard Big Brother games that we've been urging you to play?
I'm waiting to do the real thing.
Oh,
exactly. And
Canada is 70?
Yeah, so I thought Canada was a bit shorter.
Hold on. I feel like last week year was 80, but maybe it was 70. And I was thinking like, oh, that's good. It went down. Hold on. How long is Big Brother?
Honestly, like I feel like I could even do 100-day Big Brother season. Like,
I mean, it's not. I think that would be easy to too. Personally.
Like COVID was basically like Big Brother, but you were just all on your own the whole time. So if I had to do it with like 15 other people, I think I'd be fine.
Here it says 75 days.
Okay, so yeah, 2.5 months. Yeah, it's no big deal.
So I think it must be between 70 and 80 days. The States this year was 100.
Yeah, the 100 days is wild.
Yeah, that's too long, but I would still do it. Once you get past like the first month, like it'd be pretty easy. BB can't get canceled pretty much. There's no feeds.
The crazy shit is like Survivor Turkey that Berna is on now. It's like 6 months.
Oh gosh.
Like, how can you play Survivor for 6 months?
That's a long time. They better get like a good stipend.
They probably don't, to be honest.
They probably don't.
I'm pretty sure like international survivors, like only the winner gets money too. Like you probably get a stipend, but I'm sure you get a stipend. But I know like Australian Survivor, like the second place person just gets nothing.
Brutal. That's brutal.
Yeah.
Give them something, please. So Emmanuel does finish the puzzle first. I was like, oh my goodness, no. Like, I don't want him to be in the lead for this entire final. Colleen gets the puzzle second. And it was just like, Nurys, come on, just focus, get it together. But everybody's mind obviously was playing tricks on them, and they weren't able to focus as well because they hadn't slept. But now Emmanuel and Colleen are at the water, and I'm like, oh my god, if they push Nurys out of like the podium, I would be so frustrated.
Yeah.
So basically, there is an answer key that was submerged underwater, and then they had to recreate the order. Now, could you tell what the order actually was? Was it winners of the challenge?
I'm pretty sure it was it was all winners of the show because there was like some random names there. Like Kina
was there? What?
I saw Kina was there.
Kina?
What's his name? Is it Tefla?
Kefla.
Kefla was there. I think he won like season 2 or 3. So it was like really weird, like seeing all these names, but I'm pretty sure it was just like all the winners. It might have been an order of when they won even. I don't know. I didn't.
Well, because I didn't look at what was down like near the bottom, but all at the top seemed like they were early season winners. So maybe it was like one winner from season 1 and 2, and I'm going to go like all the way down. Maybe it's to 40, just using one winner.
Yeah, I mean, I saw like Casey, Tori, Devin were at the bottom, so it honestly might have been order of champions. Which
and like how many positions were there?
I don't know.
I didn't count.
Yeah, I don't know if it was every champ or not. But
Bloody Money says I didn't see Camilla D or Rogan's name.
Yeah, they might have cut out some of the people that have been banned from the show.
Yeah,
and actually they could have put like. If like 8 people won season 1, they could just put all 8 like across the first row, and then like 4 people won season 2 or whatnot, depending on these team wins. And so that's probably how they can fill a big board like that, and not include these people, but still have a lot of champs on there. Okay, so Amber, Casey, Tori, Devin were on the bottom. So yeah it seems like lots.
But it's weird though, because CT's won like multiple times, but I wonder if like CT's name was there multiple times or if it was just one. Because obviously CT's won well before like the last 2 years. So I wonder if there was
also bananas, CTs. Right? So
yeah. So maybe they just had like their most recent win.
Yeah, most recent win, or just maybe the few people from that winning season. Colleen is a certified scuba diver, so she wasn't going to have any problems with this one. And I was like, I don't want her to have a leg up here, especially if Nurys can't swim that well. So I'm happy though that Corey and Nurys were able to time out of this one, because I really, 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 really didn't want her to be stuck there for like an hour or something like that, and just like have the other people just win. So I was happy that they timed out after 15 minutes, so like they weren't held up there. He won War of the Worlds 1, right?
War of the Worlds 2.
2?
Yeah.
Oh, 1 was Turbo. Sorry, 2 is the one with
CT.
Jordan. Yeah.
D.
Jordan. Wait, who was it?
D.
Yeah, D.
Oh, D, Jordan, CT, and Rogan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
And Tori could have won, but she couldn't do that puzzle at that.
Right.
Yeah, that's when Cam, Tori, and Leroy all got purged out, which is pretty wild. Like the 3 of them getting purged out there. That was like a ruthless final.
I was upset. Obviously.
Yeah, because it was also like Pauly had like died, and then he still like did his puzzle first, so he was dead running the final, and then because he did the puzzle, he got to advance, and all those people got purged out.
Mm-hmm.
So speaking of Pauly, I got a message that him and Moriah got engaged. Is that a real thing, or?
I don't know. I haven't heard anything.
I haven't heard anything either. I'm thinking though, because Cody got married, I think, this past weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe they're mistaking a marriage over getting engaged, but
maybe they'll pull a Jordan and Tori and get engaged on season 40.
I thought you were going to say it like the reunion, but it was
no season 40. Do the proposal after Cara was so impressed by Jordan's proposal.
That would be great.
Yeah.
I also feel though that Moriah is more unconventional and doesn't want a wedding, like a marriage in that way. But maybe things have changed. So they have to do another nasty drink though before they start doing the new puzzle. And Emmanuel, he's just been going back and forth, really easily doing this, figuring out this answer key, and he got it first. And it looks like it was his first try that he got first here. So I was like, this is really unexciting. Why did Jay need for him to be here so badly? Why did Jay need to? Because he would have given Jay a run for his money as well.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think Emmanuel probably would have beat Jay too. But yeah, it's weird that like Jay was so like against Emmanuel ever being in danger, and like again, like it goes back to like that week where Asaf went home. all Jay had to do was switch his vote and let Emmanuel go into the draw. But he refused to do it because he was protecting him so much. And I mean, his best friend ended up going home. And then the guy that he saved
his first
won.
was called out. Would CT have called out Emmanuel?
Well, CT would have had to do the draw, right? So it would have been a 33% chance that Emmanuel went in.
So it might have still been the same.
It could have been the same, yeah. It could have still been Asaf going in, but at least there would have been the draw there.
So the next checkpoint that they need to do was complete all 5 stages. Nurys has already seen a similar one to these when she was doing these conquest eliminations. And Emmanuel's at the first station, and it's the Sudoku, which he finds to be the hardest, so he wants to start there first. I screamed yes when Colleen got a check and she was incorrect. I was like, yeah, yes. Yes, your memory's not that great. Like super happy that she's just giving a little bit of room for Nurys to come back. Nurys and Corey, though, learned that they can work together. So they did help each other with getting the answers more quickly. And they were able to leave before Colleen figured out what her mistake was. When Nurys and Corey do get to the final checkpoint, she's happy that she's already obviously done this before, so she has an idea of maybe strategy on how to do these these checkpoints. And so her first one that she needs to do is she has to solve the equation where she had a bunch of circles, and then some of the circles had dots in it, and so the equation was the number of circles times the number of black dots minus the number of circles that have black dots within them. Pretty easy equation. I think I heard the answer was 102. Pretty easy. And I have something. Oh, maybe not. Sorry. One sec. So what do you guys think of this equation? The equation? No?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly I didn't like pay that close attention to like what the equation was while watching. I was just like, all right, let's see who gets it first.
Yeah, I mean, we couldn't really tell what it was. They never laid on it long enough for you to count the things to create the equation yourself. They had room for them to be able to write it out, so it wasn't even like they had to do math in your head. So yeah, it's kind of like, okay, it's easy checkpoint, but at least Nurys was able to get through it quickly. She didn't seem to have any problem there. The other checkpoint was you had to smash a barrel and fit it in the box. So that's the one that Corey decides to do first. And that also seemed pretty male oriented.
Mm-hmm.
When you want to have an equal base final here, you would hope that you'd be able to, not just have things where you have to smash a barrel. But I want to know from Miss Fanta how the heck she would do on this final. Fanta presents after watching the
guys.
Oh,
yes.
Your final shirt.
She's ready.
How are you feeling about this season? We haven't seen you the entire season. I've been hearing your thoughts, obviously. You have a new partner who you're sharing this season with, so kind of living through her as well. Tell us everything. What's up?
I feel like, I've watched hi Jorge. I've watched a couple of your guys's. I know work is a killer, you guys. I've watched. You guys are my favorite podcast, obviously. But I think we all have some pretty strong feelings about this season. I'll keep it short. One polarizing thing, I kind of did low-key like this season. Specifically because like the drama was real. That's something that I feel has like gotten stale in the past few seasons. So and Matthew is like right on cue, showing like our girl, like our champion. I believe everybody probably agrees with that. But yeah, I thought it was very interesting because it's like we traded out the Vacation Alliance, but then we just got this other alliance that was kind of like this 3 to 4 headed monster. So yeah, like I don't actually hate Michele. I went through like a lot of this through the season, but I don't think that you can argue the fact that okay, like politically, she did play a really, really good game. She just didn't really kind of like think about what would happen in the end when it was going to be all of her friends. But Michele delivered. Like she gave us drama. She gave us hookup. She gave us like some politics. Jay was overall just trash. I just don't really think like you. This is, I guess, the theme about like this season, and I think it was so interesting. Like at the end, where like, well, you guys haven't gotten to the end yet, of course.
We're
Or
pretty
have you
much,
talked about
we're
the
at
winner yet?
the close to the end. We're at the final checkpoint, like the final stage.
Close to the end. Okay. Yeah. I think it was. I mean, I have a lot of thoughts. I'm like trying to figure it all out. But when you guys like talk about the winner and stuff, there was like a big theme that came to me at the end of this season. But yeah, I think Jay is trash. I hope he leans into his villain next season. I think it's super important. Like when people are really shitty, just lean into it. Just be that villain. Be that person. Don't try to pretend like you're a good person. Yeah.
Well, I do
yeah, and I mean another big thing is to.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Well,
no, another thing that I was just gonna say was Oh no, go ahead, Chantele, go ahead.
I think our timing is.
I think there might be a bit of a delay somewhere.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, you're in the past. So what I was going to ask you is like you on Ride or Dies, you were loving Olivia. You had a big crush on Olivia. You were thinking that she was going to come into this season and be like someone that you're going to be supporting and standing. How was your arc with Olivia been this season with how she came in, your thoughts, and like how you feel about her now?
I really hated her when she did Nurys dirty. I think a lot of people did. I was like, I can't believe this. I can't believe I loved you and all of the stuff. It was very tumultuous. But it's I don't hate her now because I do think that she like really like owned up to the mistake, and I do genuinely think that she feels bad. And it's interesting, like this season genuinely ruined people's friendships. Genuinely. Like there's so many people that are no longer friends. Like Olivia and Nurys are not friends after this anymore. And I don't think that Olivia feels good about that. So I don't hate Olivia, but overall I think this season has like a lot of these people. I did break up with her. Oh, it was a bad breakup. I do think that a lot of these people were just meant to be seen for short periods of time for us to like want more. And then I think that we got too much of a lot of personalities.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, like with Olivia, I wasn't a fan on Love Island, and then I was supporting her being the underdog with Horacio and Ride or Dies. And then I was hoping that, you know, she was going to be able to do well this season because I thought that she kind of got taken out a little bit early with her injury in the final. But then the way that she played, I just was like reminded that I wasn't a fan of hers before she started the season. And I was like, man, I just don't know if I would ever be able to trust her again. And I wouldn't want to work with her. And I just feel like tends to be self-interested, and then she tries to beg for forgiveness after. And so I'm not really that excited about seeing her, but I know that you need a character like hers to go on the season to cause some of this drama. So I guess we'll have her back, but I'm not going to be standing her ever again, I don't think.
Okay, so a lot of what Fanta was just saying is like exactly how I feel about the season as well, where it's like the thing that I really liked about this season is it was super messy because people did not really know how to play. So there was drama, there was hookups, a lot of fights, a lot of backstabbing. Now the boot order was not great, which was unfortunate. But the thing is, like, and again, to Fanta's point, like a lot of friendships were broken and ruined because of this season. which sucks for people's personal lives. But for me as a fan, like bringing messiness back to the challenge is what we needed after the last 3 years, because there's been very little messiness with the Vacation Alliance, just steamrolling to the end. So the fact that people are actually making cutthroat moves like Jay and Olivia, yes, I don't like them necessarily, and I don't like who they're doing it to. But if they can own their villainous ways, I think like that's super important for the future of the show, because people like Ashley and Amanda and Cara, like they're not here every season. So, and who knows if someone like Ashley will ever be back. So we need new people that want to be the villain and own their villainous ways. So I'm optimistic that like moving forward, we've like introduced ourselves to new heroes in Nurys and Kyland and Horacio, and also new villains in Jay and Olivia. So if they're going to be there, like be the villain and don't come back next season and like try to go on a redemption tour. Like we need to see you own your shit. So I don't know. I'm optimistic, but I actually did mostly enjoy this season.
Mostly. So Bloody Money wants to know if you like the idea of having a solo winner, and that solo winner being Emmanuel.
I think like with it being like battle for the new champions, I do think that it having first place, second place, third place, I think that was appropriate, to be completely honest. I think so. It's interesting, like at the end of this episode, Emmanuel's like, you know, challengers aren't born, they're made. And I had a little bit of a difficulty like digesting that coming from him. I do think he is a very well-rounded challenger, 100%. But when he said that, it just immediately sends me back to like earlier in the season where he's just like hiding the whole time and like can't deal with confrontation, which I'm like, that's not really champion behavior to me. Like, this also isn't your first season. You just basically like hid behind Jay the entire time. Like, that's not really a champion to me. So I kind of had that like battle between both of those things. I'm like, Nurys has champion behavior. She like, fuck, she was a bad bitch. Like her coming back to the house when she won the like second time, and she was just like, fuck you guys. And that was incredible. That is incredible.
And Horacio, Emmanuel had words for her being like, oh, she's coming in here like, well, you know, she did like a big deal, but like, I'm not scared of her.
Yeah, but he was scared of a lot of people and a lot of things. He was scared to go into elimination, as like a lot of people often are. But I'm like, yes, you won. You are well-rounded, but I don't know. I guess like being a challenge purist as we are and historians as we are, it's so hard to watch the new seasons and like not compare. And right now, my partner has never watched the challenge before, so this was her first season watching it. And then I was like, let's go back, let's watch Rivals 1. And she was like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. She was like, this makes like the new season look like kindergarten, and she was just losing her mind. So it's like that's one of those things we can't like erase from our minds. And like having CT come in and be like, I'm not afraid to go in. And so I wish that like more challengers would come in and show that they're not afraid, because that makes it so exciting.
Definitely makes it so exciting. So let's just finish the rest of this final. Basically, we're at the point where Corey has to flatten out that barrel and get it to fit into the box. I didn't really think this was an appropriate for one winner final. Nurys didn't have too much trouble with it, but you know, she asked Corey, she's like, Corey, how is it? And he's like, well, it's really easy because I'm big and strong. And I don't think that there should be things like that in a final where there's only one winner, where it's like strength really, really, really helps you. I was like, really? You have to have them flatten out a barrel here? You didn't have any other ideas? Couldn't this one have gone back go back to the drawing board with this one? Because I feel like there's a lot of other options that they could have had. None at all. So
yeah, that definitely, that one felt like an afterthought for sure.
You're like, let's do a fifth item here. So Berna does help Colleen leave her board. So when she finally figures out that Colleen had two names that were flipped out on the submerging recreate the board station. So she lets Colleen know. Colleen does figure it out, and she takes off to get to the final stage of the final. One of the other checkpoints is checkpoint 4, where there's like sliding discs. So we saw Nurys do this one at least one of the times before, where they had to it's kind of like connect 4, but I think there was more than 4 different colors, and they just had to put all the colors in the right slot or whatever pool. Pretty easy. Nobody seemed to have any trouble here. But once everybody started coming to this final checkpoint, or like these final checkpoints, Emmanuel starts freaking out because he's not making any headway on Sudoku, and he decides to go back and like at least catch up with the other checkpoints so that he's not completely left in the dust. Do you think that they should be allowed to leave the checkpoint that they're at, or do you think they have to, like, once you start a checkpoint, you have to finish it? What do you think about their decisions there?
Oh, that they were allowed to, or
like you should be. Go ahead.
Oh, you think you should have to finish that one once you get there?
No, I don't have an opinion.
No, I think it makes sense to be able to leave and do another one. It also kind of leaves it up to like how we saw, which is like someone could seem to be in the lead, but then someone could come up from behind if they get the harder one done first, kind of thing. So I think that's fine.
I just want him to stay there, though. But yeah, no, it is fair. It is fine. We do see Nurys does that as well, goes back and forth a couple of times, because they have to also do a similar one that she did on the elimination where she was going against Horacio and Kyland, where they had to balance on the plate, and then they kind of had to lever it up and hold it for 10 seconds, these 3 stacks. And so Nurys had a lot of trouble with that one then, but then she figured it out and was able to still come out and win. This one was also hard for both Emmanuel and Corey as well. Everybody seemed to have trouble with this one.
Yeah, that one's got to be like super frustrating because you just like the slightest movement and you're just starting from ground zero. So like that one is like got to be super brutal. And it's just like obviously like the actual task itself is easy, but getting it to stick is just going to like mentally fuck with your head so much that like I could like feel their pain through the TV and like feel the frustration. And
they hadn't slept apparently. So like also that probably takes its toll, I would imagine.
It would have. But when Berna gets to this whole checkpoint, she actually really likes it. She's like, oh, I love all these things. You know, she's great at the balance beat.
Sorry, keep going.
Wait, Brenda, what's your thoughts about Berna this final? Do we love Berna? Do we hate Berna?
Berna is the one person that I was like one of the people that I was talking about where like you want to have her as like someone you're wanting to see more of. Having her in a whole season of television was too much. And like it killed me when she couldn't drink the drink and she was like having like such a tantrum. But then it cuts to her talking heads and she's like, I'm fighting for my life in here. My life. I was like, that is like 355 milliliters of tuna juice. Please, just
and she's always just constantly like, and it's so.
Oh,
you froze Michele.
Lost Michele. But
Michele is lost. Yeah, drink the drink.
The thing about Berna is like typically someone like Berna will just flame out after like 2 or 3 episodes. So it's like you don't normally get someone that chaotic that lasts this long. And it's like Fanta's saying, like, yeah, it would be fun if Berna was like going crazy for 2 or 3 weeks and then she just went home as like most people like that normally would. But the fact that she was acting like this all the way through the season, 20 episodes of this, is just way too much for the fans. And honestly, like I like kind of feel bad for the people in the house with her because we're only seeing a sliver of it. And she must have really been driving them crazy in that house for 3 months or however long they're filming for.
So basically everybody kind of
100%.
has all 4 like checkpoints done, and it was pretty epic, I would say. I think we were all talking about the fact that like we never seen the ending of a final to be this close, where they all have 4 flags, because Colleen was able to catch up. She didn't have any problems with the Sudoku, and she was just like banging through checkpoints. And I was like, oh my goodness, is Colleen gonna like eke out a win here? Like I was starting to panic that like as much as I want Nurys to win, I was like, I don't want Colleen to beat her. Like, that would be even worse. So,
yeah, I was so scared that she, like, oh my God. I was like, Berna or Colleen cannot do better than Nurys. Like, end me. Like, I cannot handle that.
I was so worried. But in the end, Emmanuel does manage to get through the Sudoku. And I didn't realize that there was going to be a bit of a run to the actual finish line. I thought it was going to be like the other eliminations where, it was like a short distance that they had to run. So he's running to the finish line. Nurys seems to catch up. She gets her Sudoku. She's trying to catch up to Emmanuel, which is not possible. He's taller than her and faster than her and has more stamina than she does. But, I love that she was still trying to go for it. Everybody was hoping that he was going to get a leg cramp or something, but he didn't, because he doesn't feel any pain right now because he knows what he's playing for. And he finally does get to TJ, who doesn't blow a horn. There was no, flag. There was no finish line. What was with that ending? And he was like, did I win? He didn't even know.
Great. Honestly, yes, because did he? Not to me. Not to me.
Yeah, it would have been epic if at that point TJ's just like, no, Emmanuel, you actually had to bring your 5 flags with you. So go back. And then production tells Nurys, hey, grab those flags and bring them.
Oh my gosh. That would have been, I don't care about meddling at this point. That would have been so good. And just Nurys running there with all the flags.
I know, right? Just to be.
Sorry, what I was gonna say was, can anybody name me a more boring winner of any season of the challenge? A more unlikable person,
unlikable?
Please.
Okay.
Unlikable and boring combo.
And boring, that combo. Boring and unlikable. And not, you know what I mean? It's a very specific type of category of someone that doesn't often actually win. Because we've hated winners, but it's different because this person is not even, I guess Casey. Casey would be the
not
closest.
Unlikable.
But she's not unlikable. She's just boring.
Zach's pretty good.
But Zach is not boring. He's just unlikable.
No, he's
right?
just unlikable.
A lot of people are one or the other, but to have someone that's both is truly impressive.
Truly.
I don't think Rogan is boring though.
Rogan he's not boring. All these people are not boring.
These are just bad people. We don't like that, or they're not. Anyways,
they're not great. Brad, he's not boring either.
He can be boring, but he's not as boring as Emmanuel.
The thing is, Emmanuel, of all the people in the finals, had the least confessionals this season, and he won. So that's how you know he's boring. It took him until today's episode to pass Melissa in confessionals, and Melissa's been gone for 2 months. So just you don't even have to think of it as us talking shit about Emmanuel. Production literally thinks that Emmanuel is boring.
Yeah.
He's boring.
And I'm glad they showed that.
Do you still have your Melissa impersonation? See how long this delay is.
Definitely. Kyland is my boyfriend.
Okay. You still got it.
Just think about
It's
how
out of
entertaining.
practice. It is out of practice.
Think about how entertaining this season would have been if the final was, or how exciting the final would have been if it was Nurys, Kyland, Horacio, Michele, Corey can be there. I don't know. I just think about
even
how
Jay can be there.
whatever. How exciting it would have been for all of us.
Yeah, it really, really,
100%.
I did enjoy Colleen, Berna, and Emmanuel in this final. And I didn't also enjoy that Corey got beat by a balance beam. Like the fact that he was just whinging and kind of throwing a bit of a tantrum because he couldn't get across the beam. Like I've taken gymnastics, and I'm also a woman, so I have a lower center of gravity, so I'm going to be better at balance beams no matter what. But I don't know how hard, like, I don't understand why this was so difficult. Matthew, can you shed some light onto why this was so difficult for Corey?
I mean, he's a big dude. Like, I think, like, at the end of the day, that's probably what it mostly comes down to. Like, he just has more weight. He's taller. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm not his size, so I obviously, like you were saying before, like the smashing of the barrels, like certainly favored him. But here was something that didn't favor him, which goes back to like my point. Like, I actually think overall this was a pretty fair final for reasons like this, where yeah, like Corey had an advantage with certain things, and he had disadvantages with other things. The thing that kind of sucked though is like Emmanuel is like a lighter, like faster guy. So he didn't really have any disadvantages. So he just had a lot of the advantages. Yeah, but like Corey, like bigger guy, bigger feet, weighs more. It's like I was surprised how much it impacted him, but obviously there is going to be like a bit more of a struggle when you're that big.
True. Okay, you know what? I agree, Sophie. I would say the next most unlikable, boring crossover would be MJ. No, the comment before MJ, in terms of like not the same bad, but like not likable in my opinion and boring in my opinion. MJ, I would say.
So that's pretty much it for the season. If we look at the general points here, so we talked about it a little bit before you popped in, Michele, but you had going into the final, you had Jay. That was the only person that you had left standing going into the final. Matthew had Colleen and Moriah, and I had Emmanuel, Nurys, Corey, and Berna going into the final. So for the most part with points, if I got a majority of them. I got the most of them anyways. I didn't include still the MVP because I forgot to put them in a place where it was easy to track. But Michele, you ended up with approximately 145 points this season. Matthew, you ended up with 185 points this season. And it looks like I end up winning this draft with 230 points this season. Yay me. Woo! I can't believe the people that I won with. I'm kind of sad. But I wasn't really rooting for my team most of the time, except for Nurys. I think Nurys and Zara were the only people on my team that I was rooting for. I had Emmanuel, Nurys, Corey, Zara, Chauncy, Hughie, Callum, and Berna. So
Jujuy was on this season. I forgot.
Oh my god. Yeah, I forgot about her.
Hughie was. Did you forget about Chauncey too? Come on now.
Hughie and Chauncey.
We did a sabotage round, so those were my sabotages. Matthew coming in second. He had Horacio, Big T, Kyland, Colleen, Asaf, Jessica, Hughie, we forgot about him, and Moriah. And then Michele's team was Cierran, Olivia, Jay, Melissa, James, Ravyn, Ed, and Michele. So that is how it all kind of shook on out. We did it, guys. I know we still have the reunion. Is it 2 parts? Do you know that for sure?
I assume it is 2 parts.
Wait, sorry. So Bloody Money here is saying if we saw the reunion preview. No, I have not seen the reunion preview yet. Melissa and Big T versus Corey, Maria versus Tori and Michele Fitzgerald walk out. Oh, Tori and Michele Fitzgerald walk out. Interesting. Okay.
Wait, Maria.
Melissa and Big T versus Corey Lay, and then Maria versus Tori and Michele Fitzgerald, and they walk out.
Wait, Maria's in the reunion?
No, Maria versus Tori, and then also Michele walks out. At a different to do with something.
Well, I didn't see it, so I'm trying to understand what this person's saying.
I know Cara and Tori get into it.
I mean, that makes sense, right?
Yeah. Okay, Kate, did you guys talk about this? about how like Tori when she came in. Oh, okay, that makes sense. When Tori came in to do the like during chaos or whatever,
Yeah.
and she's like sticking up for bananas.
You broke his heart is broken. Yeah.
Barf. That was so gross.
That
like,
was so cringe.
that
Ugh.
like I have the most complicated relationship with Tori because like it will get to a point where I'm like I watched World Championships or whatever, and I was like, "Oh my god, she's being annoying again." And then like sometimes she'll be fine, but like that I was like, "Why are you sticking up for bananas?" He cheats on
also-
every single girlfriend he's ever
Yeah.
had.
And they weren't together. Like,
And yeah, they weren't like even official.
And he's
That
also
was
complaining about the
so-
fact that like he's a storyline, and it's like, okay, then Tori's gonna come in and make it a storyline, like make it a thing. So yeah.
Yeah, that was strange. Well, I hope that Emmanuel can buy a new girlfriend.
I'm sure she's gonna be fine with it. He'd be like, "Baby,
right,
the
yeah,
money."
now. Yeah, I did it to win the money.
I mean, probably. So, what are your predictions then, Fanta, for this season 40? Who from this cast do you want to see on season 40, and then maybe who you think you'll see on season 40?
Well, okay, first, has everyone speculating about the theme? Is it something where it's like it has to be winners
school, new school?
only? Like old school, new school, or they just
it's
wanted
old
a
school,
new
new
winner?
Yeah, it seems like it's going to be very heavily on the old school.
Okay.
It could be like a 50-50 split. It seems like from the names that they've kind of speculated so far, it does seem like a lot of old school. And I think there was a rumor that there's only going to be like 5 to 7 people from this cast on 40. So it is going to be a lower number, which kind of makes me think like, yeah, it's probably some sort of like old school versus new school, or old school paired with new school, like something like that.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's going to be too many from this cast, which is probably a good thing, but we can probably look at like 5 to 7.
Okay, that's good. I can handle that. So in that case, like obviously Nurys. I mean, obviously they're gonna have Emmanuel because he just won. I'm just really trying to think who I can stomach.
Did you have an arc with Ravyn?
Yes, okay. So people that I really didn't like before this season and now I like and or love. I really like I love when people just get in there. So I really like Ravyn. Like she had her back against the wall basically all the time. Um Kyland, oh my god, what happened?
I know, right?
I was like, in
Hello.
what world am I ever? I hated Kyland on Big
Yeah,
Brother.
me too.
I hated him on Challenge USA. Like I cannot stand him. But it was like interesting to see like how things open up and like, okay, he's like autistic and like all of the stuff, but he shocked me at how well-rounded he was. So that was, yeah, Ravyn, Kyland, who else? And then yeah, I really liked Jay at the start of the season, and then obviously at the end, I find him to be like really abhorrent. I was like excited to see Berna, and then no, not at all. I was like excited to see Colleen, and then I just
Colleen
yeah, I
has,
cannot.
I think, the biggest fall from grace, because like I actually do I think I could stomach seeing Berna before I could see Colleen. I just like she just drove me
Yeah.
so crazy.
Drove me nuts, and like just everything that she did, and also her talking heads were just awful.
Yep.
Yeah, and Michele. Oh, I can't stand Asaf.
Oh
I
yeah, me
cannot
neither.
stand him.
Cannot.
I was like, I couldn't believe that he went so long thinking that he was running the show. That was truly flabbergasting to me. I cheered so hard when CT took him out. That was like, oh,
highlight.
that was awesome. Ooh, also Big T, I didn't really care for before. Okay, yep. Big T I didn't care for before, and then like this season made me like her a lot. Because yeah, I just like the fearlessness of going into elimination. Horacio, I feel like kind of on the fence with him. Like I think he's a great challenger, obviously, but I don't think he's like totally well-rounded. Like his puzzle stuff is very bad. And I don't know if he's ever going to like take that aspect of it seriously.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like at the end of this final when Moriah's like, I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna be like bigger. And it's like, no, honey, you've still missed the point. It's not about that. like you need to be like more well-rounded.
We
but
don't know if she's actually bad with puzzles because she's never really had to do that many. We don't really know. I mean, I don't know for sure how smart.
But Chantele, like, what would your guess be?
She doesn't know how a row or she doesn't know how to paddle. She doesn't understand how that works. I don't think she can. No.
And she's also not good in the water, really. And yeah. I just don't think like there's
she's really bad on the paddle boards.
Yeah, there's just like I just feel like there's some challengers that just still don't get that. Like they still think that they can just muscle their way through the whole challenge, and it's like that is not how that works. So, Coriel, I had a really tumultuous time with. I'm sure you guys talked about this, but he just played a really, really messy game, and it wasn't like, again, like it could have been fun if he like leaned into like being a villain like more consistently, but he just did it sometimes, and then he was like, yeah, like I'm unapologetic and like all of this stuff, and it's like, no, you're just playing a really, really bad game. And I feel like him jumping ship towards the end and like throwing Jay under the bus, I was like, this is too late. This is way too late. Like everybody has, I just couldn't believe how stupid people were to let Michele and Jay run that whole situation for as long as they did. Like I was like, are we missing something in editing? Are they really this stupid? Like this just doesn't really make any sense to me. But I'm okay to like watch him again for sure and see like if he will recorrect and like play better. But obviously I didn't love him this season, to be honest.
I started off really not liking him. Matthew actually could talk the best about how he feels about Corey right now, because he's a Corey stan now.
Oh, really? Okay, I'd love to hear that.
Yeah, I've been saying it the last few weeks. Like I've like done a complete 180 on Corey. Like obviously, like at the start of the season, I was hating him because like what he did to Big T and Melissa, I thought he was just way too sloppy. And he just put himself in like a bad position, being the bottom of the majority, but also like showing that he can't be trusted by anyone. So I thought like, all right, way too messy. Like I like the mess, but I don't like who it's directed at. And then kind of at the midway point, I felt like him starting to calm down a little bit. Like his name stopped coming up in conversations, and I actually thought he played a really strong end game because he was able to identify that like Berna and Colleen were also on the bottom, but he knew, like he understands the game a little bit better. So he was able to like form something with the three of them plus Emmanuel, and they were never going to turn on each other. So like Michele was building her numbers and had her faction with Jay, Corey like simultaneously was leading another like sub faction of the majority. And it was at the point where his name was never coming up and he had people protecting him. So when it got to the chains, he was always saved. And I actually think, I actually was really impressed with Corey's like end game here. And then also when he called out Jay, which was like on paper a harder competitor in the final elimination, I gained like even more respect for him there. When he said, if I don't win, I want a woman to win. So I'm not going to risk my life in the game and a woman's life. So like, Jay, you're getting in here. He sent Jay home. I thought that was like a pretty honorable moment. So I leave the season feeling much better about Corey, to the point where like I actually, not only would I be okay with seeing him again, like I actively want to see him again, because I think he has proven like not only is he a messy good character, but he also represents a lot of different groups, which I think is important for the show. And he's also like a big strong guy. Like if there is going to be a physical elimination, like I'd like to see Corey in it. I don't want to see Fessy beating up on people half his size. Like I want to see Fessy if he's going to be back going against someone like Corey. And I think Corey's good for the show. And I think over time, Corey's game will resonate better with fans too, because people will appreciate the mess as we like move further away, in my opinion, at least.
I just saw a notification pop up asking, why do we hate Colleen so much? So does anybody want to tackle? I don't hate anybody, but I really don't enjoy her on my screen. But anybody else want to tackle why we're not fans? I mean, if you are a fan, you can also share that.
I just don't like the way, I don't know. I didn't like the way she played. I thought she made it seem like she was like, ooh, I got to wait till I make my move. And then was like, I might make a move, but then never did, but then backpedaled 50 times and was boring and uninteresting, but then was guilt trippy. I don't know. I didn't like anything about the way she played. I found her so uninteresting. And that's my opinion of her. Uninteresting.
Yeah, I agree. I felt like it just felt weeks and weeks of confessionals of, okay, like things are gonna flip on the I'm a part of this number of the other side of the house. And then I was like, amazing, like I can't wait for that to change. But then it just never did. And then I mean, it's all a part of her game. Like I don't fault her for doing this, but it definitely rubbed me the wrong way when she just threw Nurys under the bus. And I was like, what is happening here?
And then then it became all about the fact that Nurys is like just yelling at people and like is kind of bullying people, and like, you know, we see Colleen kind of cowering, being like, I didn't do that, I didn't say that, and she did. We all know full well that she did, but because Nurys was having a reaction, they're saying like, look at how she's acting, she's bad, when really Colleen was the one that was trying to make a plan to throw Jay under the bus, and then she just backed out. Yeah, I was expecting more from Molina. I thought that we were going to get Molina? Like, oh yeah, that randomly. Who gave her that name? What? And then TJ calling her that name? Come on.
I know, that was so weird, and that I was like, what? Who told TJ? Because he's not watching the Talking Heads, that's for sure. But yeah, I was expecting more from her because I was like, oh yeah, she won the mole. Like that would be
she
like
was the mole, and everybody sussed her out from the beginning, apparently.
Oh really? I thought she won it. Okay, never mind.
Yeah. So
okay,
never mind. Wasn't a good mole.
Yeah, I think Colleen is like, listen, like there's a lot of people that are just nice people, and like she seems sweet, like she seems like she'd be fun to hang out with. And like, there's nothing wrong with her, but like, that's not necessarily what you want to see on the challenge.
I'll watch her on Bachelor in Paradise.
Exactly. Right? Like, yeah, put her on Bachelor in Paradise. Like that'll be fun. But like, she's on the challenge, and like, she was back, and kind of back to my point about Corey too. She ultimately she was thrown in like contention to be in an elimination. And then she was telling us in confessionals, like, my game's going to change. Like, I'm going to make moves now. I'm going to do this, that. And then Corey was able to bring her in, and she just did whatever was in his best interest and Emmanuel's best interest. And ultimately, like, obviously she made the final and she placed, so good for her. But the move she was making was not what she was telling us she was going to do. And ultimately it was just boring. So if you're going to be like a nice person and boring, like, that's fine. Like, have a good life, but you don't need to do it on the challenge.
Yeah, this is not a show for nice people.
Yeah, it's not a show for nice people at all. But this was fun having this little reunion. Thank you, Fanta, for popping on in. Could we entice you with maybe being part of our All-Stars 4 draft?
Say less. Say less. I will happily lose that draft.
Yeah, so okay, you're in. We're gonna figure out a day for all four of us to come together. As soon as they drop the actual cast, so we have the official photos, we will, as quickly as possible, do a draft for that season. And so we're going to get some more of your thoughts about all the people that are going to be on that season. We got Rachel Robinson's back for that season. Like, it's going to be some good names. Have you heard of some of the names, Fanta?
For All-Stars 4?
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, I did go through everything. So yeah, Leroy, I'm really excited about Rachel. Yep. Who else was in there?
Cam.
Cam, okay. Yeah, that's gonna be drama for sure.
Nicole and Laurel.
Ooh,
I know.
Oh my god.
Did they probably get back
Yikes.
together because of that? Did I send you all their tea and their drama? Yeah,
You've seen the tea. You have to have seen the tea.
Yeah, I've seen it. I've read all of the like Instagram comments and everything.
At Jack's wedding and all that.
I think it's going to be very painful to have to watch them rebuild this, knowing already in reality how horribly it fell apart. Which I'm happy that it fell apart. Obviously, I don't want them together, and I'm upset that she rekindled. And it's going to be very, very frustrating to watch that. So I'm already trying to mentally prepare myself to know it's okay, because in the end, it's done. They're not together.
It's done. Laurel got to her senses. I just wish that Laurel knew there's so many like queer women out there that are literally not Nicole.
Isn't she been kind of fooling around with Melissa a little bit?
I saw some like pictures of her like canoodling with a girl, but
seemingly waking up in bed together.
I don't know about Melissa, but
I think they were like filming for Melissa's OnlyFans, and like Laurel was kind of behind the camera and was kind of helping, like was around. So who knows? I'm sure like maybe things happen, but who knows?
Wow.
I'm excited to talk it through with all three of you. My favorite people to talk the challenge with. Even though it hasn't been my favorite season, my favorite part is actually talking about it with you guys. So thank you guys so much for participating in this with me. And everybody in the chat, there are 90 of you here. So if you can all please like this video, it really helps with the YouTube algorithm. They make us want to do this even more because you're listening and you're watching, and super fun for us. So if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel, like this video. What do we want to know? Do we think that Emmanuel will be asked back for season 40, especially if him being the winner of season 39?
He can be the next Jenny West and not be back.
I personally think he will not be on season 40. That's my call now. I think
really.
I think there's just too many like way more entertaining people, even from this season. So I'm gonna guess that he's not there, and I wouldn't be shocked if we like don't see him again for a while.
Yeah, 250K goes a long way in Romania.
Yeah.
Well, from your lips to God's ears, Matthew, we hope that he shall not be back for 40. We get a please note from Rodrigo, and I agree. Thank you so much, everybody. Once again, we'll see you for our All-Stars